When it comes to flooring in a home, you have so many options to choose from. What's the best one? Well, it really depends on what your plan is for the home, especially a home that you've inherited. If it's a home that you're planning on selling, should you replace the carpet? Or if you're going to keep it as a rental, should you put down something like laminate that's a little more durable? And what if you want to update the flooring because it's a home that you want to move into? Well, I'm going to go over the most common used flooring materials today and which is my favorite, but for what purpose. And I actually have two favorites that I go back and forth with, but today I'm landing on one and I'll share that with you also. I'm going to get started with my least favorite type of flooring, and it's not something that we usually see in homes nowadays. If the home was built before 1992, you might see this type of flooring in a laundry room or in a bathroom. And if a house was built before 1960, 1950, something like that, you might still have it in the kitchen, and that is linoleum. If you have a home that you're getting ready to sell and there is linoleum in the kitchen and you're considering updating the flooring so that you can attract new buyers, yeah, let's look into what you could put down in the kitchen instead of that linoleum. But on the other hand, if you have a home that you've inherited and there's lino in the laundry room and a bathroom, I'm not going to say that I hate it. As long as the lino is in pretty good condition, it's not stained, there aren't any major tears in it. A buyer can often overlook those parts of a house as long as the rest of the house looks like it's clean and in good condition. But if you're considering redoing the flooring in the rest of the house, sometimes it's good just to have a complete fresh look throughout the house rather than stopping and having this outdated or older lino in a couple areas of the house. I don't think it's a surprise to anybody that linoleum would be at the bottom of the list. So let's take a look at the next flooring option that you have available to you. The next option is carpet, and it still sits pretty low on my list because it's not one of my favorites. But again, this will be about personal preference and about what your plan is for the home. If you're planning on selling the home, I can tell you that today's buyers are not excited about carpet either. There are times that you could get away with it if it's just in the bedrooms, but most buyers like a consistent flooring throughout the home and they prefer a material different than carpet. If you're planning on moving into the home, it's complete personal preference, so you can do what you want. But if you are planning on selling, carpet would be on the bottom of my list. And carpet's not my favorite material to put into rental properties either because it is a high maintenance material. It really absorbs stains and it really absorbs smells. And so a lot of times after a tenant moves out, you either have to do a deep clean on the carpet or just replace the whole thing. Now, if you do decide to invest in carpet, also invest in a high quality pad because as you walk across that floor, it makes all the difference. You can really feel it. All right. And next on the list is tile. And tile used to be below carpet for me, but that was because tile typically came in those 18 by 18 squares, and it just made the room and house feel so cold and sterile. And so I really didn't like tile floors for a long time, but they have come out with some beautiful tile that looks like wood planks, and I actually kind of like it. Tile is actually a very durable product as long as you don't drop something super heavy on it, but don't do that with any flooring. And the only reason tile is not higher up on my list is because of the grout. Sometimes grout will crack, or depending on the color, you can see stains in it. So if you're going to choose tile as an option, I would just say, as far as maintenance goes, make sure that you seal the grout, and you may have to do that every 6 months to a year or so. So it's a little higher maintenance than other flooring options that are out there, but I think that tile is a nice option. Next on my list is laminate, and we used to put laminate in all of the homes that we renovated. There are some very low-end laminate products and there are some very high-end laminate products. What I like about laminate is it typically has a wood look to it. It comes in all different types of colors and shapes and textures, and it can really make a room look nice without breaking the budget. Most of the time when you're installing laminate, you have to put a water barrier down first, and then the laminate goes over that. So it's a little bit of a longer installation process, but it's actually pretty simple to install. And when you're picking a product to go down as flooring on the home, you want to be thinking about who or what is going to be in that home. Are you using it as a rental? Is there going to be a lot of foot traffic on that flooring? or are you using it for yourself? And do you have pets that might scratch the flooring? So as you're shopping for flooring and you're going down the aisles and aisles of different choices that you have, just have that in the back of your mind as well. And next on the list is luxury vinyl. I know it was all the rage these last 2 or 3 years. I think it was one of the top selling flooring materials. It's just not my favorite. In my humble opinion, it has a little bit of a plasticky feel, and I don't like the sound it makes when I have shoes on and I walk across the floor, but that's okay. If you love it, you do you. I know that home buyers like it because of its durability. And if you were to put it into a rental, it's a very durable material as well. So it's really great for those two purposes. And again, this is about personal preference. It's about what you're going to do with the home. Are you selling it, renting it, or moving into it? And it's all about how much time you have and your budget. And it's also about your return on investment. If your plan is to sell the home, you've heard me say this in prior videos, you always want to take a look at the after repair value and then work your way backwards from there. When we were doing a lot of flipping, everything would go down on a spreadsheet. That way we could take a look at what the costs are and see if it was worth the risk and if we would expect a return on that particular investment. And if you're wondering if it's worth it for you to head down the path of making improvements on a home that you've inherited in order to get it ready to sell or to rent or to move in yourself, I would really ask that you reach out to a professional in your local area that knows the local market and works with buyers and knows what it is that they want. And they'll be able to help you assess what that after repair value is so that you can calculate if it makes sense to you. And the next flooring on my list, again, this one kind of goes neck and neck with my number one, but right now, today, it is my number two, and that is hardwood flooring. I love hardwood flooring in a house, and I think that most people do. And if you've inherited a home that has maybe hardwood flooring hidden underneath the carpet, let's rip up that carpet and see what kind of condition that hardwood flooring is in. If it is in good condition and it can be refinished, make that hardwood flooring sparkle and shine. Hardwood flooring adds such a great acoustic sound and character and depth and richness to a home. In the past, we've had to cover up hardwood flooring because of staining that we couldn't get rid of, or some of the planks were warped, and I hated doing it. But if you don't have to, let's let that hardwood shine. If this is a home that you're planning on selling or moving into, let's do everything we can to preserve that hardwood. And if this is a home that you're planning on renting, let's do everything we can to preserve that hardwood. Unfortunately, if it's a house that's going to have a lot of foot traffic or animals and pets, hardwood just isn't a durable option. And that's why today, my favorite is engineered hardwood. Now, engineered wood has several layers to it. The top layer, of course, being wood, that is what is visible to the eye, but the bottom layer being some type of a water barrier. And there's so many different options that you could choose from when it comes to engineered wood flooring also. The planks come in different widths, they come in different lengths, there's different grains on the wood, there's different colors, everything, you name it. And what I like about this flooring too is that it can be used everywhere. In our most recent rental, we put it throughout the entire home, including the bathroom and the kitchen. I'm not a big fan of those transition strips. A lot of times you'll see them when you have two different flooring materials. For example, you'll have, a laminate or a hardwood or something in the hallway and then tile in a bathroom. There'll be a transition strip that sits on top of that. I'm not a fan of it because I don't like the aesthetic of it. Your eye is always drawn to that transition strip rather than the flooring. But I also don't like it because they tend to pop up because either the vacuum hits it or your toe catches it and they end up popping off and you're always having to glue it back down. So if you could choose a flooring material that you can use throughout the entire home, or at least flooring material that are level to each other, let's avoid that transition strip altogether. And when you're considering the different flooring options that are available to you, there are a couple of things that I want you to consider as well. I want you to consider how much natural light is coming into the home and what are the height of your ceilings. If there's not a lot of natural light that enters into the home and the ceiling is 8 feet or below 10 feet, you may want to consider going with a lighter colored flooring. A lighter colored flooring will help create an open, bright feel to a home that buyers love. And lastly, the other thing that I really want you to consider and take a look at, and this mostly has to do with laminate flooring, luxury vinyl, and engineered hardwood, is I really want you to take a look at how the two planks line up together. My personal preference is I like seeing a definition between the two. I like having some kind of a line between the two planks. And the reason I like that is because if you don't have that separation between the two planks, the floor just looks like one giant piece. And aesthetically, it's just not as pleasing as if it had some kind of a separation between the two different planks. And no matter what, I want you to always keep in mind what your goal is for the property. Is your goal to sell the property? Therefore, you want to attract as many buyers as possible to the property. Or is your goal to rent the property and you want a durable, hardy material that can withstand the foot traffic? Or is your goal to move into the property and beautify it for your personal preference? It's completely up to you, your budget, your time frame. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.